This portion of the CU podcast is sponsored by Geology. If you grew up with the old NES games that are blowing dust off a cartridge, it might be time to start thinking about your skincare. And Geology is a simple skincare routine formulated for daily use. It's for both individuals new to skincare and seasoned skincare experts. Geology is personalized for your skin and the benefits you want to see. It's great for individuals with sensitive skin, acne, dark eye circles like I have, or wrinkles.
So you think to yourself, boy, Pat and Ian are looking radiant. How can I get in on this? Go to Geology and take a 30-second diagnostic quiz, and they formulate a regimen that provides benefits your skin needs the most. They can reduce dark and puffy eyes, fight acne and keep oily skin under control, protect your skin and reduce fine lines and wrinkles. You start with a complete trial set. They send you 4 items. You get everyday face wash, 2 tubes of it. You get Vital Morning Face Cream, Repairing Night Cream, and Nourishing Eye Cream. And you can continue with 90-day supplies of the products you love most. Subscribe and save or go a la carte. You're in control with what you get from Geology. They have exceptional customer service. They guarantee that you will love Geology and can help you at every step of the way to achieve your goals. People will notice the results and you'll love the easy routine. Compliments from your friends, family, coworkers. Look younger and feel fresh every day.
Ian, you've been looking fantastic the past month.
I try.
You're looking a lot smoother, glowing. Geology has over 3,000 5-star customer reviews with an average customer rating of 4.7 out of 5. Pretty good. They've been recognized by Men's Health, Esquire, and Ask Men 2019 Grooming Awards. All right, head to geology.com and take their free skincare quiz to save up to 40% off your 30-day trial, or just click the link below if you're on YouTube. That's geology.com. Geologie to save 40% off your 30-day trial, and you'll look better. You look like Ian, maybe like Pat. Go do it. Ian.
Yeah.
Golden auctions. We always talk about golden auctions in the past. We always talk about how much we love old oil paintings and watercolors. We always bid on them. No, but they're an auction house that's done like baseball card stuff. They've done, I believe they're based out of New Jersey. They have gotten into video games auctioning. They did their first video game auction.
They sure did.
And why is that important?
Wowie zowie. It's
important because we're about only 3 years into this graded game craze. It's only the past really year and a half. It's really heated
up. Crazy.
But Golden Auctions is under the same umbrella though as I believe CGC, who just announced they're going to get into video game grading. So
correctamundo.
So you basically have 2 competing companies now. You have WADA and Heritage Auctions under the same umbrella, basically, and then you have Golden Auctions with potentially CGC at the same time. You have these connections of these companies. So you want to talk about some of the the results that came up?
Yeah,
here?
We can do that.
We have to search for this. It's not as easily clickable. But
so these are interesting results to watch coming off of the $1.5 million Mario 64. I think those are the results that we were most interested in. And sure enough, as we had pretty much stated, you're not repeating that $1.5 million sale.
Mm-hmm.
So a 1996 on 64 Super Mario 64 sealed video game, WADA 9.8 A++. That is the, correct me if I'm wrong, exact same ranking as grade as the one that went for.
Oh yeah, the 9.8.
Yeah, that went for 1.5 million. Only came up to I say.
It's still crazy, but
yeah, it's still insane. 799,500. So 800K. That's just
half.
That's just over half.
Obviously, that all includes whatever the buyer's premiums.
Yes, that's just over half of what was paid for the one a couple months ago. The person who bought that is probably not too happy.
The person that bought the 1.5?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is only 2 months after the Mario 64 that made super headlines and was so outrageous, truly, truly, truly outrageous, that even Heritage Auctions was like, we can't explain it.
We don't understand this.
We don't understand that. They couldn't explain how the most common N64 game that they sold, combining regions, over 10 million of them. It came out when the system came out. Most people who had N64 had this game, how that game could go for 1.5 million, fresh, unopened copy or not. It made no sense for a dirt common game to do that.
Yes.
And that's what started people to look into this further. People like Carl Jopes and people like Seth Aberson was like, this doesn't make any sense. I mean, for us, we always said this doesn't make any sense, but that really exploded it into the nadir. Is that the word?
Maybe.
Is that the proper word? So, Ian, what's the game that you brought up as a prophecy about
Spider-Man's always been the go-to.
And why? Remember, tell us a tale of Spider-Man real quick, Ian.
So Spider-Man on the Atari 2600, when around the time that this sort of like the WADA graded stuff got big and the heritage auction started happening, Spider-Man, what was the first price that the first one went for?
Like 9,000, like 9,800, between 9 and 10,000.
It went for a lot, and I posited at the time that it probably went for, part of the reason it went for that was probably people coming from other areas of collecting
with no knowledge of video games,
saw a Spider-Man thing and said, okay, this has cross genre appeal. Essentially,
it's the first video game with Spider-Man.
It's a video game and it's Spider-Man.
The first comic book with Spider-Man is worth a ton of money.
We're gonna spend a lot on this. They did. And then every month after that, or every auction after that, more and more of these 9.8 Spider-Mans started getting auctioned, and we just watched over time the price drop and drop and drop until I think the last one went for, again, correct me if I'm wrong, I think one went for under $1,000.
Yeah,
I think it went for like 980 or something. It went from it dropped in value 9 times.
More importantly, or just as importantly as that, the second one that came up within a month went for less than half of the first one, and we commented on that. It went for half.
This is why I always say I think, my issue with this is I think my issues with this is slightly different than I think other people's issues with it. But my big thing is you need population reports in games to truly be able to judge the rarity and the value of them. Because look at this. When it's the only one that people know of, it's worth $1.5 million. Mm-hmm. When it's the second one people know of, it's worth...
How do you price it?
Half. And then the golden auctions thing is even crazier because there is a VGA graded
95 gold VGA graded Mario 64,
which I don't know a whole lot about grading. People say that comparatively it would be close to it,
but that's like the highest grade that VGA gives stuff.
So it would basically be the same as a 9.8 A++,
or as close as you would want to get if you cracked it open and got it graded.
This also shows, so that one only went for again, it's still kind of crazy. I'm having a tough time pulling it up. It's under 300K.
Yeah,
it's under 300K.
So what does that tell you? It really tells you that obviously this has nothing to do with the game itself. These aren't collectors. This is all speculation. But not just that, the speculation has to be a WADA game in particular. 240,000. Search for sealed, and then they all come up. If you search
I did. I wasn't. It's further down. I wasn't seeing it.
So 240,000 with the 20%. So that is doing the pat math from 1.5 to 240. That was at 1/6, 1/7 of the price of one that just went 2 months ago. So that's even worse than one going for 1/2. Went for 1/7, somewhere in that region. 1/6 of that. None of this makes sense. I mean, you said the time, it doesn't make sense. If you had population reports both through VGA and WADA at this point, someone could have made an informed decision when bidding, saying, you know what, Ian? Wow, there's like maybe 10 to 20 of these in this similar grade. I don't think it's worth that much. And guess what happens when people have information? They make informed decisions, and they won't spend and lose their ass as they are in investments like this.
Right.
If you were that person, I kind of feel bad, even though you're probably well off enough that you can spend it 1.5. But still, I don't like people getting taken for a ride.
I feel like the people who that's part of the reasons where I start to lose interest. The people who are doing this are largely people who have the money to do it. But yes, I always fear that there's going to be someone who decides this is their make it big thing and puts all their money into it and realizes.
And people get caught up in scams all the time with like Bernie Madoff and stock scams, and it's like, just because you have a lot of money and you lose a lot of money doesn't mean it's not a bad thing. I'm not one of those people that say, oh, they're rich, who cares? I'm not, sorry. But That person that 2 months ago spent $1.5 million on that Super Mario 64, you just lost at least several $100,000 in 2 months on your investment. You might have lost more than $1 million or more, because now when the next one comes out, do you think it's going to be above or below this one that went for 800,000? I think it'll be below that. I think it's going to follow a similar trend.
Yes,
because
it's going to end up in a place I think that is still very, very high for what it is, but it's going to be much lower than that 1.5 million.
I don't know. I don't know how this happens over time. I don't know. There's never been a market like this, I think, below that's exploded out of control this quickly. And what happens when you get 5 or 10 more of these over the next year or so? Because remember, like, we don't know how many of these have already been graded. We don't know how many are sitting in in WADA's, warehouse waiting to be graded. We have no idea. The people that are seeing this news that have a copy laying around or a factory case, I'm going to cash out. So when you see a rush of this happen, I mean, if you say, hey, maybe it goes all the way down to 30 grand or 20 grand or 15 grand or 10, and that's still insane for a game that's super common, that you can find graded ones, you can find sealed ones all the time on eBay. You can find various sealed ones. A beautiful one went for 15 grand that I maybe this is the one that ended up selling for 1.5 million. I don't know. But it looked beautiful I think it was April it sold on eBay. The point is that these speculators are absolutely flying blind. It's worse than a crapshoot, because with a crapshoot, the odds. I don't know what the odds are with more of these coming out, but more are going to come out. Right? Can you imagine you just spent the 1.5 million, you got taken in with all this? I don't know what happened here. We still don't know the idea. It's been a confirmed sale, that 1.5. We don't know who it is. We don't know if it was like a fucking investment app, but either way, you lost a ton of money. Like you lost a shitload of money. And if you try to sell that again this quickly, that copy, because we'll know which one it is, because they're all have a serial number, then we really know this is a bubble that popped, because this person knows that they have no confidence it's coming back. They're going to try to cut their losses and maybe only lose $1 million instead of all 1.5. Woo! This is how this stuff starts.
Right.
You shouldn't be, wow, it went for 800,000. You should be alarmed that it didn't go for the 1.5 or more. That's the thing. And I know there's probably a lot of people that probably said, well, Ian, the 1.5 million, we're off to the races. We're going to see a $5 million game within a couple of years. I bet you a lot of people probably thought that. This is going to go up and up. It can only go up. You always see that in some of those articles past. These can only go up and up in value. They can't lose money. Well, they've lost a ton of. One's lost $800,000, close to $800,000, $750,000. One just lost.
Yeah.
Does that give you confidence in the market at large?
It reminds me of the NFT shit, and I've been trying to find a way to phrase it that I can't, but what's the word? The energy in this is resulting in prices that you normally end with, not start with. I don't know of anyone who's buying NFTs or these $1.5 million Mario 64s. These people, I cannot imagine people thinking that this is going to turn around for more money in the future. You're like, does that make any sense? You're paying the end price up front.
Yeah, it's not
normally, and I guess that goes back to saying that it's jumped up in price just unnaturally quick.
Sure.
It skipped all this middle ground where people usually get in before it hits that 1.5 million.
There hasn't
Meaning
been that.
You get to that 1.5 million, and then all of a sudden you just see a bunch of lower sales. I don't know. I mean, maybe we get another one like that, but I don't see this magically rebounding to $1.5 million status with the next copy that gets auctioned.
I think what's going to happen is this is going to be a hard education for these speculators.
Sure.
It's going to be a hard education. Because again, and I think we're proven right. We always said that there's like, 100 to 200 people that are buying this shit. You don't have all these people with tons of money to get into this. But you're going to find out that you're going to be you've attracted some people. You've attracted the investment apps. Good for you. You attracted enough people to do this. But being that it hasn't been a natural attraction, it's been a huge FOMO, almost meme stock thing. It fizzles out. I mean, this is Beanie Baby territory stuff.
Sure.
where it goes from, oh, this is a fucking plush worth $3. Now it's going for $1,000. Why? Because all these maniacs got into it that quickly. It's the exact same thing. It's the exact same sort of mindset. This has been built over years and years and years or decades to the established point where you had, like, say sealed game was always a sealed collecting was always a big thing. Say you were selling them at Luna, 15 years ago, and it was a constant thing, constant customers, and then conventions always had these people that were buying them, and it wasn't like a niche thing with only like 1-2% of collectors. It was like 90%. You can make the case that, well, it's always been there. There's always been these people that are into it, and now it's being transferred over. This has been totally manufactured. And the fact that you have people on record like the dentist saying, yeah, I didn't collect games until this past year, and I went out to my fucking neighbors and rich friends and got money to make an LLC to invest in these games. That's not a natural collector sort of growth of a market. That's pumping money in to attract other people to pump money. That's all it is. It's a money pump scheme. That's all it is. And I'm glad people are finally becoming aware to it. Any other one of these? You want to comment on this? I think someone that used to work at Team Sega commented on the crazy Sonic the Hedgehog thing. This
Not just someone who worked at Team Sega, Pat. Yuji fucking Naka.
Okay. I'm not familiar with the name.
I'm just going to let the comments have a field day with that one for you.
I'm not a Sonic guy.
Jesus Christ. You're a video game guy, Pat.
I pointed out the tweet.
Yeah, he just made a tweet because there was a sealed sealed Sonic the Hedgehog that went for 400 something.
430.
Yeah, and his comment was simply, "What is this?
What is this?
What is this?"
All right, come on, tell me who it is, Ian. Come on, I'm looking for it.
Yuji Naka, the fucking father of Sonic.
Oh, he was the father of Sonic. Okay. Sometimes I pretend not to know these things, but this time I didn't know it. I like to see you get agitated.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what I'm going to say about sealed Genesis games.
Those seals were rough.
As crazy as sealed collecting is for NES games, I sort of at least understand it because those boxes are easily damaged and it's cardboard and it's flimsy. Genesis games and Master System games are hard plastic. The cover art and back art is inserted in a slip that unless you really want to, you're not going to be damaging that paper, really. Unless you really want to get in there, and it's protected by a piece of plastic over it. So it's almost like Genesis games have their own inherent, I guess, seal to them. If you want to say that, they're protected. You know what I mean? Like, you can find Genesis games that are beat up, but for the most part, they're okay.
I get it, but people aren't buying it for that reason. They're buying it because it's untouched.
That's the point, though. It's even crazier because the seal over a Genesis game, it's like almost like you didn't really need it. It's over the hang tab, and it's even less of an appeal, you can say. So it's even, what I'm saying is it's even dumber. It's somehow even dumber than the seal over a cardboard box. That's what I'm trying to say. It's even dumber. It's like the seal over a CD case.
Sure. My other thing is that if I recall correctly, and I could be wrong, but I remember the seals on Genesis games have being crappy.
But the whole point is they're even dumber because the item is more protected. Like a Dreamcast game sealed, like, is that really that much better than just having a Dreamcast game?
I think that's just a point though where you're misunderstanding why these collectors do it. I'm not saying you have to understand it.
I'm trying to rationalize an irrationality. I'm trying to rationalize the behavior of something that's even, you know what I mean? It's like you're literally paying, because you can find Sonic games that are probably in really good shape, like that are just opened. Like, it's like, oh, it's just a piece of it's plastic. It's like, oh, I guess, okay, it's worn a little bit from opening it up a few times. But to pay $430,000 for a crappy seal that, like, I've never known sealed Genesis and Master games to even go for any amount of money because no one fucking ever cared. Like back when
you don't really really ever see a sealed Genesis game.
The same way, like, sealed Dreamcast games never was like a huge premium. It's like, who cares? There was never even in the market like this big value place. When I used to complete the Sega Master System stuff, I got a few of those games. I think I have a sealed Altered Beast for Master System. It was like not much more than getting an Altered Beast It was like in the same neighborhood. So it was like, who cares?
I've bought 2 or 3 PC Engine games factory sealed because they were $10 more than a non-factory sealed copy, and I felt like, hey, it'll be fun to take the seal off.
So that's what I mean. It's even crazier. And by the way, this wasn't like a 9.8. It was like a 9.4. So it's like, I mean, maybe there's not a 9.8 Sonic, but like it's just, again, it's jumping into, well, it's Sonic. Let's throw this money in just in case this becomes $10 million over the next few years. Like that's the mentality. This isn't a collect. This is, please tell me the collectors that are spending this amount of money on this. Please tell me the collectors that wouldn't be satisfied with a $25 regular Sonic the Hedgehog on Genesis. Maybe it's worth $50 by now. A $50 version of Sonic the Hedgehog versus $430,000. You are that much of a collector. You're throwing away that much money.
You can go to Luna Video Games right now, and if they have one, get a very nice complete copy of Sonic the Hedgehog for $20 with the manual.
There you go. Does that satisfy your itch for Sonic? And there's other ones. The other crazy one was that great port of Mortal Kombat on Super Nintendo. You know how we always talk about it today. That was one of the best arcade ports ever, Ian. $79,000.
For which one?
For the Super Nintendo Mortal Kombat. I'm being facetious, Ian.
Great. I knew you were, but I didn't know if you, and the only other one I bring up in that way is Final Fight, which I think is fucking dog shit. I absolutely hate the Super Nintendo Final Fight.
We were purists, but $79,000 for Mortal Kombat, a 9.8 that was probably pulled from a carton. That like, are you crazy? Are you crazy? There's no historical significance to Mortal Kombat at all on the Super Nintendo. The only significance was how bad it was and how it kind of forced Nintendo to change their policy.
You could make the argument that it forced Nintendo to change their policy, but I think if you're going to get a sealed copy of Mortal Kombat, you go with a Genesis copy.
Or you don't get one. Like that's the thing. Or you get the arcade cabinet since that was the first time people played it. But you can't really easily speculate on arcade cabinets because they require a lot of room. And you know what I mean? You can't do that. Thank God, right? That'd be insane.
Once you get to arcade cabinets and pinball cabinets, the desire for the desire for all original pieces and things like that goes away too. You get a lot of repro stuff. You get a lot of reproduced overlays. You get repro, pop bumper caps and shit like that. Chrono
Trigger for $55,000 sealed. That's a funny one because that one I keep remembering because that was in the documentary, not for resale. Where's the Blu-ray? Whatever. Joe Santulli, Digital Press, held up one in the basement saying, oh, this is a Chrono Trigger. We're going to sell it for $1,000. And that was like, when was that shot? 4 years ago? That's it. 3.5 years ago, you go from 1,000 to 55x return on your investment in 3 years. Yeah, that's natural. That's sustainable. That's 55x.
Crazy.
An interesting one. Here's the 240. Yeah, any other ones at this point? GoldenEye sealed for $59,000. Another dirt common game. I know people that have some. I'm looking at there's an Ocarina collector's edition that's sealed for $20,000. That's actually one of the more reasonable ones. And then you have some Pokemon Game Boy ones that are on here. So,
all right.
I guess we're gonna have to see how will the auction houses be scared to bring more of these to market. I wonder if they realize this could be, or they just want to make their money. I mean, okay, well, even though it makes 100,000,
I feel like the auction house probably doesn't care. Well, the auction house would, because the higher it goes for, the more money they get from the premium.
But the auction houses, I think, are smart enough to know that this is a bubble or that this is unnatural.
I feel like there's no way they look at this and go, yeah, we're going to get $1.5 million Marios all day long. No.